friends. With all eyes of the media, especially social media, around the Ayodhya issue, it is high time to discuss about an important issue that is going to threaten the very own existence of this Mother Earth, the Environmental Impact Assessment Draft prepared by the central government in 2020. What is this EIA? Environmental Impact Assessment is a process of evaluating the likely environmental impacts of a proposed project or development, taking into account interrelated socio-economic, cultural and human health impacts, both beneficial and adverse. UNEP defines environmental impact assessment as a tool used to identify the environmental, social and economic impacts of a project prior to decision making. The aim of this environmental impact assessment is to predict the environmental impacts at an early stage in project planning and design, find ways and means to reduce adverse impacts, shape projects to suit the local environment, and present the predictions and options to decision makers. Then what is the history of EIA in India? It started in 1976 to 77. The context is Planning Commission asked the Department of Science and Technology to examine the river valley projects from an environmental angle. The Environmental Impact Assessment in India is statutorily backed by the Environmental Protection Act of 1986. On 27 January 1994, the then Union Ministry of Environment and Forest under the Environment Protection Act of 1986 promulgated an EIA notification making environmental clearance mandatory for expansion or modernization of any activity or for setting up of new projects. The Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change notified new EIA legislation in September 2006. Then what is the importance of EIA? EIA links environment with development for environmentally safe and sustainable development. EIA provides a cost-effective method to eliminate or minimize the adverse impact of developmental projects. EIA enables the decision makers to analyze the effect of developmental activities on the environment well before the developmental project is implemented. EIA encourages the adaptation of mitigation strategies in the developmental plan. EIA makes sure that the developmental plan is environmentally sound and within the limits of the capacity of assimilation and regeneration of the ecosystem. Then what about the background of EIA draft in 2020? In April, Environmental Minister ensures that the National Board for Wildlife Standing Committee stamped its approval on several projects with serious implications for conservation. The ministry wants to make some fundamental change to the process of project approvals by introducing a new environmental impact assessment notification. India jumps to 63rd position in World Bank's Ease of Doing Business of 2020 report. Due to the pandemic, in order to save the economy, India is encouraging more and more industries to set their business in India. As part of this, it is on the track of making it easy for the industries without much legal hazard. Then how is the 2020 draft different from 2006 legislation of EIA? Major departures from existing regulation is the removal of several activities from the purview of public consultation. A list of projects has been included under category B2, expressly exempted from the requirement of an EIA. The projects under this category include offshore and onshore oil, gas and shale exploration, hydroelectric projects up to 25 megawatt, irrigation projects between 2,000 and 10,000 hectares of command area, small and medium mineral beneficiation units, small foundries involving furnace units, some categories of re-rolling mills, small and medium cement plants, small clinker grinding units, assets other than phosphoric or ammonia sulfuric acid, micro, small and medium enterprises in dye and dye intermediates, bulk drugs, synthetic rubbers, medium-sized paint units on inland waterway projects, expansion or widening of highways between 25 km and 100 km with defined parameters, aerial ropeways in ecologically sensitive areas and specified building construction and area development projects. Coal and non-coal mineral prospecting and solar photovoltaic projects do not need prior environmental clearance. The 2020 draft offers no remedy for the political and bureaucratic stronghold on the EIA process and thereby on industries. It proposes to bolster the government's discretionary power while limiting public engagement in safeguarding the environment. While projects concerning the national defense and security are nationally considered strategic, the government gets to decide on the strategic tag for other projects. The 2020 draft says no information on such projects shall be placed in the public domain. The new draft exempts a long list of projects from public consultation. For example, linear projects such as roads and pipelines in border areas will not require any public hearing. The border area is defined as area falling within 100 kilometers aerial distance from the line of actual control with bordering countries of India. That could cover much of the northeast, the repository of the country's richest biodiversity. Moreover, the notice period for public hearing has been cut from 30 days to 20 days. This will make it difficult to study the draft EIA report, more so when it is not widely available or provided in the regional language. The major problem pertaining with the EIA draft of 2020 is the creation of an ex post facto clearance route. It applies to ongoing or completed project for which an EIA clearance was never sought or granted, and the construction of the project took place regardless. The project now can be slapped with minor fines for the violations and get cleared. Where such ex post facto clearances were being granted previously, the courts cracked down on them as illegal. A recent example of this was a gas leak at LG Polymers in Visakhapatnam on May 7. The Environmental Ministry told that the National Green Tribunal that the unit lacked environment clearance, exposing the law effectiveness of the rules. Therefore, what could not be ratified will now find itself notified. The legality of sized up in the court is questionable and will have to be tested. Then what is the way forward? The 2020 draft notification may be beneficial in the sense that it consolidates the EIA rules and has a potential of alleviating some ambiguity in the present law. The minister should focus on ensuring access to information as well as awareness about the public hearing and its impact upon the whole EIA process. In order to improve the ease of doing business, the government should bring down the average delay of 238 days in granting environmental clearance. Grow now, sustain later should not be the policy, as the notion is dangerously tilted against the concept of sustainable development. The COVID-19 and the pandemic all over the world has powerfully demonstrated the value of nature for well-being, of lost forests and captured wildlife, bringing virus reservoirs closer to humans and foul air destroying their health. While there might be a case for some changes, much of the proposed EIA system can only make things worse and should not be pushed through. We need much stronger laws to protect the environment and to ensure that natural resources are available to the poorest who need them the most. There are a large number of communities like Adivasis, peasants and coastal and fisher communities whose lives mainly depend on the state of the environment. Any drastic changes in EIA will have a direct impact on the living and working conditions of these people and the ecology. If the government is not acknowledging the urgent need to come up with the environment and people-friendly laws, we must demand the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Environment and Forest to take up the task. We don't need more man-made disasters like the Kerala floods. The present EIA draft of 2020 needs to be challenged on keeping the core provision of doing an environmental impact assessment before the operation of a project, as well as disallowing any project without a proper EIA. If you are new to my channel, please do like, share and subscribe. Stay connected with us, stay safe, study safe. Thank you.